lakes. Even the grand old Kempegoda had created more than 100 lakes. Now, why is it that these lakes have disappeared from Bangalore? I won't venture into that because those of you who are actually reviving the lake must be knowing more about it than me. But that's why I'm extremely happy to be with this audience, because you are actually engaged in reviving a lake. But that gives me another linkage, and that is the presence of Devanur Mahadevappa. Devanur is a leading Karnataka intellectual figure. He is highly respected among marginalized sections of society and the intelligentsia. He writes prolifically, and many of us are great admirers of him. He may not be sufficiently known in the urban middle class, but those of you who read Kannada would surely know about Devanur. And so I have a feeling that if I ask him to say a few words linking the lake and this audience, that may be interesting. So before I request him to do that, I'll speak a few words about why I joined the Aam Aadmi Party. I have been an activist all my life. I studied in Mysore in a not very great school. So I don't think I ever received proper education in school. I did my Bachelor of Science also in Mysore, and then I did my LLB in Sharada Vilas Law College, Mysore. My father wanted to push me into zoology because that was his subject. Fortunately, when I was doing BSc, I got the second rank in social science, and for the first time there was a doubt in my father's mind that maybe this fellow is not cut out for zoology. And that paid well. As I went into law, I found myself greatly interested in law. I came to Bangalore and did my LLM in Bangalore, and I got a gold medal in labor law as well as in administrative law. And that was only because when we were in the new batch, they told us whoever gets a gold medal will get an automatic job. And so we did get the job, and that's how my teaching career began. And I took labor law, and ever since I've been devoted to the issue of labor law. I have been in the trade union movement. I worked in the trade union movement for more than 2 decades. And I had the privilege of working in this very same constituency. I never dreamt that one day I would be contesting for the MP seat from that constituency. I was doing trade union work for different motivation. I worked basically in the Peenya industrial area, on Tumkur Road, in Yashwantpur, in Malleshwaram, Mahalakshmi layout, in those areas. Even now that is still largely actually an area where working people live. I no longer use the expression working class because the character of that group has changed very considerably. Hence, it's a place where working people live. And I have those memories. I'm very fortunate to mention to you that we belonged, half a dozen of us in Bangalore. We were trade union leaders with a difference. And the difference was because we did not live on the trade union funds. We were all part-time teaching. I used to finish my teaching from 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning in the University Law College. And that salary, a very meager salary, was enough to lead one's life, partly because my wife was also well employed and we had a social contract that I could do revolutionary work and she would do earning the money at home. So that contract has lived through, and as a result, I got the opportunity to do full-time serious trade union work. That has been an extremely educative affair. It was educative because on the opposite side, I did a lot of collective bargaining. We had eminent people who were on the other side, management, the chief executive, the finance director, the works manager, the HR director. So in collective bargaining, if you had to hold your own, then you had to do your homework. I think in the public sector, we signed one of the best settlements, that is in Bharat Electronics. That settlement was such an excellent one, it became the model for the rest of the country. So I spent a lot of time doing this kind of work. And then I found that I couldn't continue full-time work for various reasons. So then I became a full-time teacher of law. And that was at the National Law School. Along with half a dozen faculty members, we set up the National Law School. Believe me, we started in the cowshed of Central College. Everybody was opposed to the idea of a 5-year law course. But we, of course, under the leadership of some very great people, we were able to push that through, and the National Law School, you know, today is not only of national repute but international repute. Devanur has come to National Law School on several occasions in order to talk to our students, and so that was an extraordinary experience. I then got selected as country director of ActionAid. I must mention, somewhat without modesty, that there were 6,000 applications for the post. And that organization had the tradition that if they did not like those applicants, then they would do head hunting. So I was one of the three who was headhunted, and I was selected as country director of ActionAid. That was another extraordinary experience. I was able to come into contact with 24 states in India and 2 union territories. And our agenda was how to use the rights-based approach in order to secure socio-economic and cultural rights for the marginalized sections of Indian society. The marginalized sections, by the way, are not people like us. On the one hand, we have the privilege of having had the best of Indian society. But if you want to know who the marginalized are, they are the Dalits, they are the tribal people, they are the Muslims, the urban poor, and among them, the worst off are the women, the persons with disabilities and children. So that segment, if you count them, it exceeds 70%. So that part of Indian population has been at the receiving end. We have had the benefit of some trickle down which has accrued to our pockets. And that is post especially the new economic policy. But they've taken a beating. And if India wants to save her democracy, you can't do it unless you address that question. Tomorrow is Ambedkar Jayanti. And Dr. Ambedkar is one person who said, yes, you can be proud that India has got political equality. But so far as socio-economic and cultural rights, and among them particularly social and cultural rights are concerned, there is unprecedented discrimination and inequality. And he said, unless you address that inequality, your democracy itself is in danger. And that is the reality. And even in Bangalore North constituency, when it's one sad thing that what happens during election, we go in search of those pockets where there is a lot of votes. And you feel sick because very many of us are going there for the first time. But we are not going there only for votes. Unfortunately, that is also the truth. But when you go there, and you must take a chance to visit some of those, especially this community, I see this as a wonderful community. Oh my God, Laksha is here. Laksha is an old friend of mine. He is from the Concern for Working Children along with Nandana Reddy. He runs APSA. APSA
we all know.
So sorry to tell you, I'm carrying coal to Newcastle, I think. But I must tell you this, because I work on child rights issues in India. I work. APSA's organization is the best place in India where child rights are protected on a residential score. I don't know how many of you knew that, because Laksha is not somebody who will open his mouth so easily in favor of himself. So I think this is a legitimate occasion for me to tell you that. Similarly, in Bangalore, there's another organization called ECHO. Laksha works with children who are in need of care and protection. The ECHO organization works with children who are in conflict with the law. If you are in conflict with the law, then the criminal law should be attracted. But the Juvenile Justice Act offers a protection. So there is ECHO which takes into its fold all children in conflict with the law. No other organization in India which does that. And if you have noticed, some children with a red sash across their chest, those are children of ECHO. They have been rehabilitated as traffic policemen. And the police department pays money. And that kind of an experiment has not been done. So right in your neighborhood, you have 2 extraordinary examples. And here is a lake example. All that means that in Bangalore, there is unprecedented potential for a new transformation in alliance between the middle class and those who are in need. IT sector is immensely capable of that. I don't think I would have been a candidate here, but for the fact that the IT sector in Karnataka took a lead. You know, Prithvi Reddy, he is from the small scale industry. During this campaign, there are many small scale industrialists who joined us. There's one person who actually works with us from morning till night. There are more perhaps. But this one person has collected 1.5 lakhs into our treasury. And so that is the way this Aam Aadmi Party is built. So there are many absolutely fascinating things. I believe that if you can tap the potential of the IT sector, not only for profit making, profit is legitimate, but not only for profit making, but also for social transformation. Not of the Nandan Nilekini type, but of a type which will actually deliver some results. Then I think there is a huge agenda for us. Lastly, let me tell you what many of us are thinking of. The elections will be over on April 17th. The results will be only on May 17th. In the meanwhile, there is a month, and we want to start work in order to build Mohalla Samitis. We want that the local community, it's a community like this which will have to decide how to make the Mohalla committee work and how to elect a corporator. We would like to see all the corporators of Bangalore elected by processes like this, and then you will know who among you is corrupt and who is not corrupt. Obviously, you will find non-corrupt people because they are in abundance. And once you get them together, we can transform Bangalore. Because the corruption in Bangalore is a corruption between the land mafia, the water mafia, and the garbage mafia. The garbage mafia says there is 4,500 tons of garbage in Bangalore, whereas in Mumbai, you don't have that much of garbage. So obviously, they have exaggerated the figures in order to loot the corporation money. So we must expose these mafia. These mafia are in league with the contractors, and those contractors are in league with the politicians. So attacking corruption is an important way of getting into everything in our society, and you must come forward. You must lead it, because I think this is an exceptionally important community because of so many nice things that are going on. Please take the lead, show the path, give propaganda to the idea that your lake is going to be filled up with water that is not mixed up with sewage, and that itself is a major contribution. So we will dedicate ourselves to that task, and we can't do it ourselves. Aam Aadmi has a vision of that nature. There are many mistakes which Aam Aadmi is committing, but that is not surprising. They are faced against a Congress party which is 125 years and Hindu Mahasabha which is almost equally old, whose progenitors continue. So Aam Aadmi party is less than 2 years old. So we are an infant. When I came to Bangalore to decide whether I must join Aam Aadmi party, a group like this of my friends, we confronted the Aam Aadmi party leadership. And we had so many questions. I did a similar thing in Delhi. I called my peers and said, I'm feeling attracted to Aam Aadmi party, what shall I do? And there was a division among us. And the division was those who felt that Aam Aadmi had not answers for all policy matters. And there were a few of us who said, yes, that is true. Let's join and find the solution. So I belong to that category. And I request all of you to join that. Come in, let the good people come in. Otherwise, the corrupt fellows who are few in number, they rule the roost. And we must avoid that. And therefore, it is important that all of us must join hands. Election result is a smaller thing. But this opens up an opportunity. And the 3 candidates in Bangalore city, now they have reached out to all the corners of Bangalore. We will persuade all of them to have these kind of meetings in localities, and let's give it a new life. And that will be the beginning of something very new. I like this audience such a lot that I have the temptation not to stop talking. But I must now restrain myself and request my very dear friend and guide and philosopher in many ways, because I have tremendous respect for this man, and we will soon be working together in the days to come. I request Devanur to speak to you and share a few thoughts.